What's up, coaches? Hunter and Sherb here from Team Misfit HQ. Today we're talking about the crossover single unders. We're going to give you a teaching progression for this movement, as well as a couple things to look for as the coach when we're thinking about cueing this kind of unique, fun movement. First things first is establishing the correct jump rope to use. We saw lots of athletes who kind of go to the beaded style, old, playground style jump rope, and that seems to work pretty well. In conjunction with a slightly heavier jump rope, athletes should also be messing around with the length of the rope. So I personally found that the standard length that I would use for regular double unders or single unders is far too short and have to actually go up multiple sizes in the rope, at least while learning. The shorter the rope, the more precise athletes have to be. So a longer rope is a little bit more forgiving initially. So once athletes have kind of figured out the right rope to use, and it's just going to take trial and error, we can start talking about the progression. The first things first is making sure athletes understand where their hands need to go in a standard single under jump. And I like to describe this as kind of the lunch tray position. So if you were in middle school, you're holding your lunch tray, you're kind of going through the line, you're just having your hands relaxed, your elbows are probably a little behind your body, and your hands are just kind of relaxed comfortably right at your side. And this is about a pretty solid position to do single unders. So Sherb's going to do some single unders, and as the coach, I'm looking for his hands to basically stay in one spot. They're not moving all over the place. He's driving almost all of that movement from his wrists. Nice vertical jump, really simple. Next thing, now we're going to talk about the crossover portion. So I'm going to have Sherb actually start with the rope behind him, and what I'm going to first have him do is just kind of establish the feeling of that cross position. So the one hand is always probably going to cross over. The same hand is probably going to cross over for your athletes, so they want to kind of figure that out. But we're also kind of alternating between that lunch tray position and then like hands in the pockets. Now, incorporating the jump. The rope starts behind Sherb, and all I'm looking for him to do is loop the rope around him, cross, and catch it with his feet. Okay, so there was no jump. We see his hands end in a pretty sound position. The rope was under his feet, so if he had jumped, the rope probably would have passed under his feet. Okay, let's do it. Can you do that one more time? We're 1 for 1. See if we can go 2 for 2. Yeah. Okay. Cross, latches under the feet. Perfect. Okay. Next step. That's just kind of taking out some of the additional complications here. So we're just worried about the hands, but now we want to add the jump. So just a single jump. Again, Sherb loops the rope around his head. As he goes to jump, or as he crosses, he's jumping so that rope can pass underneath his feet. Okay? And we're not worried about what happens next. We're just going to chalk that up as a win if we can get the rope around and crossed with the jump. Okay? Next step is continuing with that next uncrossed single under and catching it with the feet. So basically we've got the crossover, comes back around, catch it with the feet. Cross. Oh. Sherb jumped a step. That's okay. Totally fine. Cross, and we're looking for that rope to, again, land right underneath his feet as if you were ready for the next one. Again, for some of your athletes, like 1 or 2 of these steps might be sufficient for them to kind of get that coordination aspect down, but we're going kind of 1 step at a time here because, and again, this is how I taught myself personally. So once he's got that second, he's got the cross, he's got the catch of the feet, we're looking for a crossover plus a regular single under. Basically 2 repetitions. 1, 2. Okay? And then he can continue with single unders as long as he needs to. Additionally, some athletes may benefit from actually starting with a couple of single unders before they go into that cross. I know for me, again, it was actually the cross that kind of threw me off, the timing of the cross and the jump. So I started without the jump, just worrying about the hands, but I think Sherb does well with kind of a couple single unders, and then when he's ready, he can go into those crossovers. Sweet, relax. Awesome. So that's the progression. We start with the single unders, we go to the kind of the cross, catch with the feet, cross with the jump, catch with the feet, cross with the jump, regular jump with the jump as well, a regular single under with the jump. Now, points of performance, just kind of things we're looking at as the coach. I love this cue. Sherb came up with it. You can think about, athletes should be thinking about themselves as kind of either a painter, so going kind of across, back and forth with paintbrushes, or maybe you're the conductor of an orchestra just kind of going back and forth with those, the conductor wands. I don't know what those are called, but
that sounds good.
Good enough, okay? Conductor wands, okay? But we're trying to keep the hands crossing back and forth in a continuous fluid motion. And again, we're going from that kind of lunch tray position, hands in the pockets. The wider the hands go, the shorter the rope becomes, the more the athlete needs to either jump or they're just gonna catch their feet, okay? So I'm gonna have Sherb do one more set of a couple reps. We're gonna pay attention to his feet, pay attention to the hands. Hands are very consistent with their cross, and relax. Okay, so there you go. You got that crossover single under teaching progression for athletes. The main thing when we're coming up with these progressions is to eliminate, break everything down step by step, kind of eliminate the complications and only worry about one kind of challenge at a time, and then slowly start to stack those skills on top of each other until athletes are doing crossover singles like champs. If you like that, you like that?
You like that?
If you like that video, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you in the next one.